Hey everybody. I wanted to make a brief video here about something the Lord has put on my heart lately, and that is one of encouragement to others. Everyone could use encouragement, but for the purposes of this video, I really want to focus in on like our church workers, our laborers, anyone who volunteers their service, or even if they're paid to be on staff. And just kind of offer a word of encouragement at this point in time. So churches are filled with so many people who give up their personal time. Who a lot of them are behind the scenes workers. Some of them are front and center. But at the end of the day, these are people who volunteer their personal time, and just because they love the Lord and they love people. And so I just really wanted to kind of speak to you if you're in one of those roles. I just wanted to speak to you today and just offer up some words of encouragement. I know this is a little different for me. Usually I use, if you know me, I use humor. That's kind of my go-to. I'll post stupid memes online or just crack jokes if we're talking in person. You know, that's who I am. That's what I do. But this time I wanted to just do something a little different. And so I have some notes off to the side here just so I wouldn't forget and lose track of where I'm at. So specifically, I wanted to talk to pastors, teachers, administrative staff, childcare workers, audiovisual team, security teams, music teams, the people who do the maintenance and cleanup. And I don't want to limit it to just those groups. I was trying to think of groups who are pretty common in churches, but by no means am I trying to exclude anyone. So if I didn't mention you, that is not intentional. It's just I was trying to hit the ones that you typically see. But with that said, if you're a volunteer in any way, shape, or form, this just as much goes to you. I'm not trying to isolate to specific groups here. So I just kind of want to recognize each of these groups that I've mentioned, starting with pastors and teachers. Week in and week out, they are taking their time to study, to prepare lessons, to prepare sermons, you name it. I mean, and it doesn't matter the age group, children, adults, teens, anyone really. Just how much time they invest and how much prep work goes into that. I want to recognize that and just make sure that what you do is not unnoticed. And the same goes for everyone else I'm about to mention. Administration. Hey, these are the people who make the place run. Let's just be honest. These are the ones that are usually running behind the scenes. And like I said, they're making it run. They're handling all the day-to-day operations and putting people in connections. And yeah, it would be difficult to make this place to run without them. Childcare workers. Hey, if you're a parent, I'm a parent. You know how challenging raising children can be at times. It's definitely a blessing from the Lord, but it also can be challenging. So imagine being a worker who is watching 10, 15, 20, maybe more, kids, just so you can be with your Sunday school group, could be in your service, whatever it is. I want to recognize them for the efforts they put in. Also, I do want to add on that we should be considerate of their time when we drop off our kids and when we pick them up. The same goes for if your kids are, in a Sunday school and those teachers. Let's be considerate of their time and try to pick up our kids on time, because hey, they have lives too, right? And honestly, I'm even talking to myself as much as that. We had a little deal at church last week where right after Sunday school, I got busy talking, my wife got busy talking, lost track of time, and my wife was like, hey, I'm going to go pick up our son. And she went down there, and he was the only one there, and the teacher was waiting. So she came back and told me that, and I felt really bad about that. She did too. So we're personally going to try to be better about that. So that's why I bring that up. Moving on to the AV team. If you've ever done that job, or whether you've done it for the church, whether you've done it for your daily job, maybe you work in IT, I work in IT. So there's been times I've had to tend to that. That's a stressful job. You can do everything right as far as pre-planning and preparing all the equipment, going through checks, and then something will happen and something magically breaks. So I think we take it for granted that everything works just by sparks and magic, but there's a dedicated team who is constantly on that. And one thing I can promise you is that during any sermon or service, that there is a team behind that who is holding their breath and praying the whole time that something doesn't go wrong. So anyway, I want to offer encouragement to you as well. Security teams, hey, these are the ones keeping us safe. They're keeping a watch out, making sure that nobody bad is about to do anything, keeping an eye out for suspicious activity. They're keeping us safe, so we need to pray for them. Music teams, not only can it be challenging just for the constant rehearsals and practices and spending time away and extra time doing those things and singing the same songs over and over again just to make sure it's done right and looks good when it's time to present. But I'll talk to this a little bit more later on, but hey, anytime you put yourself out there publicly as a face, you're looked at kind of in a higher standard. And so those standards can be hard to maintain, and I'll come back to that. But I just want to point that out. Okay, sorry about that. Someone called and it cut off my video. So anyway, so I do want to, regarding the music teams, I just want to point that out. But again, I'll come back to that topic. Maintenance and cleanup crews. We all kind of take that for granted. As we're on our way home, somebody is sticking around and cleaning up, moving tables, chairs, you name it, cleaning bathrooms, just anything that we don't even think about, and there's people staying behind and doing that. So I want to recognize y'all too. So the other aspect I wanted to, and I don't want to make this video very long, but the other aspect I wanted to talk about and circle back to was for all these people who are offering their time and serving others. We as Christians encounter spiritual warfare daily anyway. But I think when these groups and these people who are actively serving the Lord and doing so sometimes in a public position, like if you're a pastor or teacher, on the music team, whatever, the devil is going to attack all of these people. I mean, these people are putting themselves out there on the front lines, and they could really use our prayers and our encouragement and our support. Because here's the thing. The devil can attack us primarily in two ways that I'm going to speak to today. He can discourage us, and he can discredit us. And so I'll talk to discouragement first. I mean, like I mentioned before, when you're talking about people who are doing their prep work ahead of time, volunteering their time outside of their own, work lives and everything else they've got going on, just so they can do their job at the church, or prep for what their role is. And so, that can be the devil can very easily try to discourage and be like, oh, you don't have time for that today. You're too busy. You got too much work to do. And then it becomes this, almost like a burden where they're like, oh, I've got to get my lesson planned. I've got to do this. Hey, I just want to encourage you guys. Hey, you're doing a great job. And we need to pray for these people who are volunteering their time, to shield them from the devil's attacks. The other thing that he will try to do is he'll try to discredit you. I mean, he'll do that to any of us. I'm not trying to just focus primarily on these leadership roles, but again, I do want to say that that he'll try to discredit you in any way he can. So maybe you're a teacher or a pastor and you just complete a lesson on, you name it, whatever. Don't you think that whole week afterward that he's going to do everything he can to make that person look like a hypocrite? I mean, just think of if this were a courtroom trial. You have a witness who testifies to something and they're like, this is the truth, this is the truth, this is the truth. And what happens? The opposing legal team is going to do everything they can to discredit that witness. They may bring up their actions, they may bring up what they've said before, they may bring up whatever to try to convince you to believe that the words they just spoke are not true. And the devil's going to do the same thing. So he's going to try to put these people in situations to try to set them up to fail. So we need to be cognitive of that, and we need to pray for them. Pray for them that the Lord will protect them and the Lord will give them wisdom to recognize when these things are happening. So, I just really wanted to take a minute here. Again, I'm trying not to make this video too long, but the Lord put it on my heart to just try to be an encouragement today and kind of depart from my normal self of using humor and just trying to make people laugh for a second. And really essentially we as a church body need to recognize these people, walk up and tell them thank you, shake their hand, give them a hug, whatever, and just say, hey, thank you for the job that you're doing, and we're praying for you. And anytime you tell someone that you're praying for them, mean it. Otherwise don't say it. But if you tell them you're praying for them, do it. And as we should be praying for all these people as well as others who I may have failed to mention. So anyway, that's all I had. I'm going to go take my lunch now. So hope this has been encouragement to you. God bless you. See you soon.